It's been a while. Welcome back. And my inspiration for coming back is one of my guests who is I aspired to start a podcast, and doing his very first podcast made me say, you know what? Think it's time to jump off the porch and do what I love doing. And that's podcasting and aspiring to the world to have open dialogue about the important issues. Now, before I ask my very first question, my always first question is, how's your mental health? I'm gonna start off with my nephew David, and we're gonna work around in a circle. So,
I'm doing
David,
better.
how's your mental health?
Getting better every day, huh? I just don't. I'm just in the space now. I'm just not gonna let a lot of stuff bother me. And even if it does bother me, I'm not gonna say nothing about it. I'm just gonna say okay, and just keep it moving and just let God handle it. If we're being honest, it's just a matter of letting people have power over me, which I'm guilty of. But I can admit some things really do piss me off. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna let it bother me. I'm not gonna let it ruin my day, and I'm not gonna let anybody have any control over me. So at the end of the day, say what you want to say.
All right. Jack, how's your mental health now that you are taking on the task, taking on other people's issues and asking them the important question? How's your mental health, brother?
It's great. It's never been better. And David, I wanted to reply to something you said there that that you're pissed off or whatever. Being angry is a good thing. When you're angry, it shows that an injustice has been done to yourself and that you acknowledge it. It's just how we react to that anger, So never be ashamed to be angry or to have anger inside of you, because I do. I go to therapy. I just went to therapy, and anger can be a great motivator, and it can be something that can really help you. So never be ashamed to have anger. It's just recognize it and know how to
Hey, Norris,
react.
can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. I can hear
But
you.
my mental health is great. Therapy's been doing great, and the podcast been talking about men's issues, men's mental health, and that's been amazing too. The Other Side of Tough podcast. I'm gonna have you guys on it too. So we should definitely do something. Definitely, Ryan. I wanted to reach out to you and get you on my podcast because I'm sure you have a lot to say about men's issues.
And speaking of Ryan, who's now a whole new person. I've never seen someone who actually say, "Hey, I'm putting the powerlifting to the side. I'm putting all this other stuff I'm doing to the side. I'm gonna become a new person just so I can step in the ring one time only and possibly put someone to sleep or get put to sleep." But he's doing it, and I am so proud of you. And I don't know where this fight is happening at, but brother, give me a month notice, and I am there, and I want to see you step into the ring. And at the end of the day, I got my money on you putting whomever to sleep.
100%. And you look great too, brother. You like that weight cut, man. You're looking lean and mean.
Yeah, thanks, boys. For the first time ever, Jack, you are bigger than me in a different
I
weight
know what's
class.
going
Eh?
on.
All these years, me ragging on you for being small, and saying Norris and I being the same size. Uh,
Uh,
yeah, since I put down powerlifting, I have lost 70 pounds from my
wow.
peak bulk. I competed in powerlifting in the 120, 110, 105, and 100 kilo categories. I am 190 pounds right now, and I'm going to fight at middleweight next year for an amateur fight at 48 years old at 185 pounds.
Wow.
And I used to weight cut into those divisions in powerlifting. And so there we go. It's been a massive transition to get in one amateur fight at 48 years old because I said I would do it. And, you guys have known me for a while. That you take that to the bank when I say I'm going to do something, no matter how crazy that sounds. And even on a funny cardio thing, my cardio was walking to the squat rack for the last decade or so. And I also signed up for a 10K race in my town in April as part of the Muay Thai training. So from walking to the squat rack and getting out of breath after 5 reps and saying anything over 5 is cardio, running every morning, doing the Muay Thai training, the clinching, the bag work, everything like that, total transition. And then in terms of the amateur fight next year, it will be live streamed. Usually these things are. So boys, you can sit in your living rooms and watch me step in the ring as an old man, except I'll be skinny with abs. Hopefully that's the
Oh yeah, dude, I'm proud of you.
Man, this is amazing. All right, my official first question is I'm going to start off with something heavy. Should men be vulnerable? I'm going to start with David and work around the circle.
I think I'm the wrong person to ask this one first. I think it all depends. Yes and no, because in my personal opinion, you can't be vulnerable with everybody. You can't show everybody your nice side or your fun side and stuff like that. You can't, in my opinion, I pick and choose who I'm vulnerable with. Like I pick and choose who I open up to. Because like most people, I don't trust everybody. And at the end of the day, people, in my opinion, people know what I want them to know. Like there's only maybe two, three people who know everything about me because I learned some people, some people want to know everything just so they can run behind your back and laugh at you about it. And there are some who genuinely care about how you're doing or what you got going on. Some people want to be nosy, some people actually care. So no, you can't be vulnerable with everybody. It's okay to be vulnerable with some people, but not everybody. No.
Jack.
Yeah, so I think that vulnerability is a strength. I think that, if you are able to be vulnerable with yourself, that's a strength. But you should set boundaries. Like you were saying, David, you shouldn't like open up to everyone and tell everyone who you are and what you are because, the world's a fight, right? When we start from
Mhm.
day one, it's a fight for survival. And we have to treat it like that at all times, but being vulnerable with ourselves is actually a strength. When you put up layers and masks upon yourself, you create something. Um, it's called what's it called? That it's a paradox where you're uh, imposter plot complex. You gain imposter complex when you're not vulnerable with yourself. So you create these shells of who you're supposed to be, or these masks of who you think you should be. And when you don't live up to them, that's imposter complex because you're not living to what you are. But if you're completely vulnerable with yourself and you live your life with true intentions of who you really are, then you never have imposter complex because you belong here and you know what you need to do. So I would say yes, be vulnerable with yourself, be vulnerable with people that are close with you, open up to people that you need to, but definitely set boundaries because there are always people out there wanting to harm you, wanting to do harm because hurt people, and there's a lot of hurt people out there. So always be on your guard.
Brother Ryan.
I'm definitely going to roll a lot more with David on this one. No, sorry. I'm an old guy. I'm old school. Boys don't cry. You vulnerable, suck it up. Be harder. Dig deep. Nobody gives a shit. Work harder. Like I live by these virtues. I'm not saying it's right or wrong for other people. We've brought up this sort of thing before. You probably guys, Jack and Unc there, you probably knew my answer already on this one. What I don't think it's necessarily good for everybody, but no, it just bites you in the ass. This world takes a hard man, and that doesn't mean you got to be an asshole to people. That doesn't mean you got to be, not love your wife. That doesn't mean you got to not love your kids. That doesn't mean you got to not stand up for those around you. But no, vulnerability isn't really going to do you any good, in my opinion, and I'm not going to put this opinion on anyone else. Or I respect Jack's opinion, of course, and everything he said was right, and it's right for a lot of people. But almost no good comes from it, and that's maybe a problem more with the world or society or Western culture than it is on a personal level. But there's no good that comes from it, in my opinion. Because you could open up to your spouse, your partner, your girlfriend, your kid, wherever, and then it comes back 3 months later, bites you in the ass. right? And even being vulnerable with yourself. Um, what in no, suck it up and get hard. You know what I mean? Like David Goggins, right there. Stay hard, MFers, man. And I'm not. Yeah. So all I can say is generally no, and not right, wrong for everybody. And I will not put that opinion on any other man because I'm never going to tell another man what to do or think anyway, beyond advice or suggestions. So no on that one.
I think I've just to respond real quick. I mean, and of course, I'm not going to say what you're saying is wrong at all. I'm just going from my perspective on things. That vulnerability goes ahead and shows you what your weaknesses are, and I think that strategically, as a man to grow, it is important to find those weaknesses and to work on them and to grow on them. Whether you're powerlifting, whether you're fighting, or whatever, it's important to know what your weaknesses are. And I think that's what makes you a stronger man in the end, because you go ahead and yeah, you have to put in the work to make yourself stronger. I'm not just talking about being vulnerable and being like, oh, I'm just a little daffodil, in the field being blown by the wind and just gently floating away. No, I'm talking about like, real work. It's like I've got an issue here, and that's something that I've got to take steps to make better in myself. But like like you said, you don't want to share that information with everyone else, or if you do, you want to make sure you're confident enough to like stand by it and stand by your intentions. um, so that's all I have to add to that.
Hmm. All right. Now, one question or one thing I would like to expand upon: why do you guys feel like society as a whole make it bad for men to show their emotional vulnerabilities? Like Ryan said, if a man cries, sometimes that could be seen as weakness in certain cultures. So, why do you think that is forced upon us in certain cultures? If you see a man emotionally weak or want to express his vulnerability, is seen as a weakness. We'll start with David and work around the circle.
because because it's looked at as weakness for us, especially as men, because we're looked at as protectors, providers, and supposed to be setting the example. And I can admit I've only seen my dad maybe cry maybe 3 times in my life, and I'm 31. He cried when my grandmother passed. He cried when we visited his dad's grave in North Carolina, and when I graduated the police academy. Those are the only times I ever seen him cry, ever. And and I took that as men aren't supposed to cry, and we're looked at as weak when when we cry or show vulnerability. I'm sorry, I agree with Ryan. It's true. It's true. Like, especially nowadays, especially in 2025 and this new generation, if a man cries or showing his vulnerability, we're looked at as sassy. We're looked at as feminine. We're looked at as weak. We're looked at as punks and all that stuff. And I agree with it to a certain extent because, like Ryan said, the world don't give a shit about you. The world don't give a shit about your problems. The world don't care about what you got going on inside and all this other stuff. Suck it up and keep it moving. But again, with the right people around you that you actually feel 100% comfortable with, it's okay to feel that way. And for those who run behind your back and say, "Oh, hey, you know, oh, he got this going on," or they just want to know what you got going on so they can run behind your back and laugh at you, I say go to hell. That's that's just how I feel.
Jack.
Yeah, well, I think with so the question is vulnerable. So vulnerability with men. So let's just take statistically what's going on with men right now, because of this. 1 in 6 men suffer from depression. Men are 4 times more likely to commit suicide than women are. Men are 1 in 4 chance of becoming an alcoholic in adult life. I mean, these are just some of the statistics, because I've been looking through them, because this has been November is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And so I don't think that hiding it and putting it away and not dealing with these things, not dealing with these emotions, not maturing our emotions and exercising our emotions, I think has created a big problem with men. And that's the problem I'm trying to address in my podcast by talking to people from all walks of life, and seeing their perspectives on it. But I think that, the whole holding it in and being a man and sucking it up, it takes you so far, yeah, but in the long term I don't think it's been really working for men. There's been a real decline in men's mental health because of that kind of attitude. And what I would like to see is a strength through facing that, and like people looked as courageous for working on themselves and doing the work. And that's why I go to therapy once every week. I just went just an hour ago now. And it takes a lot of work. It takes as much work as you do in the gym to work on your physical body. You got to put that amount of work in your emotional uh, work. And it makes me a more emotionally stable person. I'm not as reactive. I'm not as temperamental. I'm actually more wise and more calm and more rooted and more strong and more reliable for the people that I love and that are around me, because I'm not so emotionally delicate, because I'm actually being vulnerable and working on those things that are my weaknesses. But that's just my opinion.
Bro, Ryan.
All right. So the Western culture, pop culture, men vulnerability thing, why you think it's like that kind of question with some add-ons there. Look at some TikToks out there, look on social media, look at this. You have everybody saying men should cry, men should have emotions, men should have this. I want this in a man. And then you see just as many videos on the other side. I don't want no man that does this. I want a man that's a provider. I want a man that's a strong. I want a man that protects me. And if you do open up, you do this, you get dumped by that your partner anyways, gay, straight, any gender, anything, right? It's double-edged sword, right? You see one segment, oh, we want a man to do this. We want a man in touch with his emotions. We want this. We want that. You do that, and then you're on the opposite of another TikTok video going, I dumped my boyfriend because he's a weenie. And I wonder, where are all the real men at? Where's all these providers? Where's all these protectors? Where's all this? Where's that? Right? So you have that double-edged sword you see in movies. You see this. It's still superheroes. It's still action heroes. It's still this. And you got social media telling you two different things. Mm-hmm. Right? And then that's a Western culture thing that younger men are facing right now, or older men like myself getting, crapped on. I don't give a shit. Nobody gives, no, I don't give a shit. World don't care. Right? I'm still hard. Where that's coming from. Right. And that's where I think it's happening in culture right now, is that it's stuck at a crossroads. You want a vulnerable man, or do you want a hard man? And if you pick one side or the other, you pick the wrong side. And regardless of what your choice is, seems to be, if you want to go pop culture, you want to go movies, you want to go TV shows, you want to go TikTok, you want to go YouTube, you want to go Facebook, you want to go your friend circle, you open up to your friends. Next thing you know, they're behind your back going, oh man, this dude's just busted up over this or that. Oh, what a wanker, right? Like, that's where we're stuck in a pop culture kind of situation. Got to pick a scenario. Now, to go with Jack for a second, to sort of agree with him on something like that, in terms of working on your emotions and do all that, you can do that without telling anybody. Or your therapist, Jack, has doctor-patient confidentiality. You're a rich man if they go behind your back and say something like that, right? There's someone you can open up to. It's your shrink. If they ever say anything, you're putting them out of business and you're taking their paycheck. Or you can work on emotional issues on the inside, not tell a soul. And again, not saying it's good, not saying it's bad, my opinion on that. But to sort of address Norris's question there, Western society wants it both ways. And you can't have anything both ways, right? And that's where that comes from. And it's like, what choice do you make? And it's going to be wrong, right? So, I chose to be a hard man. Now I'm emotionally unavailable. Now I'm this. Now I'm that. All of that, right? if I chose to open up to everybody and be emotional and supportive, or or different kinds of things. Oh, what's this guy's wanker? You know what I mean? Like, no, man, he's not going to provide, he's not going to protect, he's not going to do, or you're just going to get walked all over, right? So it's just a tough nut to crack, where Western society wants it both ways, and that's probably created many of the problems that Jack referenced actual statistics for. Not going to, those are stats, those are real. It's Movember right now, right? Mental health year for Movember. I'm doing it, running every morning, doing that 60K challenge and all that, growing this stash out here, because those statistics are real. And look where that comes from. You're some young man right now coming up in this world, and you're getting it from both sides, right? And then what are you going to choose, right? And then that's where some of you're going to drink it away. You're going to have problems, right? Like it's and then to guys that are on my side of the fence, or the suck it up, nobody gives a shit side, you can work on that stuff internally, and don't tell anybody unless you can sue them if they go behind your back.
Baron, I think we can agree on that. That's good. That's good. But one thing I should say, Ryan, is that I think that you're one of the you're one of the strongest people I know, but you're also one of the most kind and gentle people I know. And I see that on your interactions in Facebooks and the Facebook groups and stuff. You act like a real mentor, and you never put people down, and you always encourage people. So it might not be vulnerability, but there is a gentleness to you. So you're not as suck it up and tough as you put yourself off as. I think you're a very kind and gentle person. I think that comes from years of strength. And, all the strong people I know are kind and gentle people also, like the real strong people.
Good point. My next question is: should men be capable of kindness, but also be willing to commit evil acts when necessary? And since this goes into a certain person wheelhouse, we're going to reverse this and start with Ryan and work around the circle.
Absolutely. Don't confuse kindness for weakness. I will absolutely extend my hand and give anyone the benefit of the doubt. I will help them. I will do whatever. In my worldview, whether it's dinosaur or not, that's what a man's supposed to do. Lift those up around them. Be a leader. Being a leader is not just running faster than everybody else or whatever. It's helping the next person finish the race too. Your tribe, your people, your friends, your groups, your wherever you meet, I try and show leadership. And that comes from growing up hard and having some struggles and doing all that, because one of the things I live by is be the man you needed. And you know what I mean? Just think about that for a sec. Just be the man you needed in any given situation. We've all been in all these tough situations. If another man walked up out of the mist, right? What do you want them to be? That's what you should be. Or that when you were in some tough situation and nobody came to help you, what if some guy came to help you right then and there? Be that man. Right? It's deep, but be the man you needed. And that's, you should be kind. You should be everything. That doesn't mean that I can't say to somebody, hey, the world don't give a shit. Suck it up. Here's some paths. Here's some tools. Here's maybe what I would do in that situation. Or here's maybe a path forward for you, and show them a bit of kindness and stuff. Right? At the same time, you can say, the world don't give a shit. Suck it up. But then you also have to draw lines in the sand when people try and take advantage of you, your friends, your groups, your anything around you, and go, hey, this shit don't fly. And then or if someone, runs up on you or does anything like that, I'm not talking about catching charges for being stupid and crashing out. But I mean, anything like, or jeopardizing, because it's just as dumb to jeopardize your life, your career, your anything, because someone smacked your old lady or her butt in the bar. I don't mean smack, something dumb. So many beefs online. You see people crashing out for the dumbest shit. And that's not being a man either. That's being weak. Right? Sometimes you got to turn the other cheek or draw the line. But then if it comes down to it, yeah, you have to do what you got to do. And then be willing to deal with those consequences. Now, sometimes the right thing to do is do nothing or walk away or do that. Like, you cannot crash out. Crashing out is not manly. I don't know how to put it any other than that. So I still, yes, you should be kind. You should be a shoulder for others to cry on. You should try and do what's best for those around you at all times. But then don't confuse the kindness for weakness. And when you got to draw the line, draw it.
Jack.
I think every man has the propensity towards violence. Every man holds it within themselves. And it's a double-edged sword. I mean, but a real man has that propensity of violence and knows when to use it, knows how to control it, and knows, that that they need to use it to be a protector, to protect their family, to protect themselves, to be aware of the situation, be aware of your surroundings. When I walk out, like I live in a rough neighborhood, so and I go for walks often. And so when I'm walking, I'm always ready for violence. I'm always checking all around myself. I'm always prepared. But I'm not going to be violent in the past I was because I was emotionally weak. But now, by building up myself emotionally stronger, I know how to control that violence within and how to outlet it. And I think not enough men have outlets. Like, I think it's great what you're doing, the Muay Thai, Ryan. I mean, what a great outlet for violence, and what a great. We're talking about, male friendships. What a great way to build those male bonds that we no longer have. No longer have those spaces to build those male bonds. And part of that is violence. And I think that's one thing that you were kind of hitting on, Ryan, with like modern society, is that, like being soft and being like in touch with your feelings. That doesn't mean being without that element of violence. Any real man should be capable of violence, but also a real man should know when that violence is necessary and acceptable, or else you're just a weakling. If you're just violent, you're just a bully, and I have no respect for that. But I mean, I think that's great what you're doing, Ryan. I think that like more young men too should get involved in martial arts, lifting, things that can express that violence in a positive way, get you in shape, let it out, and also build a bond with other people. Like the bond that we've built through lifting.
Hmm. Before David jump in, I think the pretty much bring it all together. Pretty much you guys are saying the same thing. Violence is an effective tool, but it's always smarter to know when to use that violence, but have the emotional maturity to know, hey, it might be time to walk away from this particular situation, or to know I cannot walk away and I have to use this as a tool. But it shouldn't always be the only tool that you use in society.
And to
David,
acknowledge it's part of the male experience. Violence is part of the male experience. Until we acknowledge that, we're not going to solve any of the issues that us males have.
good point. David,
Yes, sir. Um, I agree with both. Matt Barnes once said, "Violence is not the answer, but sometimes it is." And what I took from that is I don't agree with how he said it because I know what he meant. But in my opinion, do I go looking for trouble? No. But if it comes my way, I'm going to be ready for it. I'm not just going to let you sit there and punk me and bully me or whatever. I'm going to fight back. And I feel both sexes should feel that way. Don't go looking for trouble. But if it so happens to find you and you have to fight your way out of it, then so be it. It is what it is. Self defense ain't illegal. Um, am I a violent person? No. Am I an angry person? Maybe. But am I just gonna fight somebody just because I don't like them? No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna say what I gotta say to you, and if it ends us, if it ends in us duking it out one time for the one time, then it ain't gonna be me that starts it. Um, I've never been one to start a fight. Every fight I've been in, I never started it. Now I can admit I've said some things out of anger that incited violence, but I never fell through with it because I had a weak moment and it was a very immature moment. I can admit it. But um, is it okay to be violent? No. But if it's in self defense, then you got to do what you got to do.
Mm, good point. And to all the young men out there, before you make the decision to use violence as your tool, go to your bathroom, the smallest bathroom you got in your house, and lock yourself in there for 24 hours. And then think about whether or not you want to use violence as your tool. Because no matter what you do, the consequences could be you're locked in a cell for 24 and 1 when you get nothing. Your personal liberties and freedoms will be taken away from you because you made the wrong decision at that time. So before you make the decision to use violence as a tool, think, they're not. My next question, a few months ago, I don't know if I ever told you guys about this, but when I was doing my TikTok thing and I was making videos, I posted a video about a local, a big time celebrity. Somebody gave him a hug, and everybody was chastising them for getting this hug from another celebrity. And I said, hey, me personally, I love to hug one of my brothers. I love to give my brothers big old hugs. And then somebody on TikTok with a ski mask on and we couldn't see his face, he debated me and said it's wrong for men to give each other hugs. And I have one cop and a few power lifters and karate fighters on this podcast right now. So we're going to ask the alphas. We're going to ask the alphas. Because I know personally, when I met Jack, I gave him the biggest hug I could give
Oh
him.
yeah.
So, hey. And then I thought to myself, the people I hug will take you out off this earth. Take you off this earth. The people
Legally.
I hug are one bad
Legally.
day away. So, so
Yeah, yeah.
you should be thankful, my guy. But that's just my personal opinion. We're gonna start off with the hardest dude on this joint, Ryan. Ryan. Whenever I meet you, whether or not it's Canada, whether or not it's United States of America, whether or not it's you coming out the cage and you got your victory, I'm gonna give you a big hug. But would you be offended if I gave you that big hug?
Not in the least. Not at all. And this is an interesting one for me because I used to have a massive aversion to physical touch. And I was not a hugger. I was here's a firm handshake, sir, and that would be it. And then one of the interesting thing was as I got bigger and stronger and lifting and made these bonds with my brothers, or when we get in the ring and spar each other in Muay Thai, the bell rings. You give that man, you give him the respect and you give him a hug. We hug after almost every drill session. You just beat on that man for 90 minutes or 3 minute rounds, or you did drills and the coach is like left, right to the head, kick him in the liver, and try and block it, and you do. And afterwards, or you knock a guy down, you're down there with him on the ground, you're helping him up, and you're giving him big hugs. And it was interesting. The stronger I became, or and then in the martial arts world and Muay Thai, we hug each other all the time. And these are some of the most lethal weapons on earth, with their bare hands. And we're sitting there, man, you really got me, brother, bring it in, and it's a whole different thing. And it's there should be no reason why you can't give a brother a hug, beyond what a handshake or late, you know what I mean? Like I can't now, which is interesting because it evolved over the years. No aversion to it. If I saw any of you guys in person, it might start with the handshake into the bro hug, but it'll end up in an embrace. And I don't see that as non-manly, non-anything. Once upon a time, we were all warriors, brother, and I don't see the difference, or I don't see that as a negatory at all.
Jack.
I think well, this life is too short not to express love to the people that you do love, and show love to them. Because, like it seemed like just yesterday I was 17 and now I'm 45, and then, like I could be gone tomorrow. And so I think it's really important when you see the people you love, man or woman, you express that to them. Because like what is that stoic phrase, amori morti, like live like it's your last day. You know, it's important to do that with your friendships and the people you love. You know, it's important to give that because it could be the last time you see them.
Mm. Dated.
Hugging, no, that. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I've hugged my academy mates the day we graduated. Everybody hugged, male and female. So there, that's not. I feel like people who think it's bad or diddy like, if you will, to hug another man. That's just crazy. Now kissing, okay, yeah, no, yeah, no, back up off me. Absolutely not. No, 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 no. Get your lips away from me. No, 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 no. But I mean, I just hugged my dad earlier. We met up for lunch and I hugged him. Like I hugged my father. So I hug my male best friends. I hug everybody. There's nothing wrong with that. If I'm comfortable with you, and that's where if I don't know you like that, you try to hug me, all right, we're gonna have to draw a line there. But I think people who chastise men for hugging each other, I think they have an insecurity within themselves. Or they're going through something internally and they need to go seek help. Um Hugging, yes. Kissing, yeah, no. I don't care if I know you like that. No. I don't care if I know you like that. No, 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 no. There will be no kissing or on the cheek nowhere.
Well, I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna say to Mr. TikTok, you know what I mean? I didn't get an opportunity to debate him because he put it on where I couldn't respond to his video. But to him, I would suggest that he soften his tone and he soften his outlook on life. Because, like Ryan and Jack said, this life is too short. And I do, like, it seemed like you blinked. You blinked. We were all just David age, and then we blinked, and now you know you're in your upper 40s, and you like, what the heck happened? I was just outside. And
I'm
now
almost as old as y'all. Hold up. What you trying to say? Trying to call me a baby, huh?
we got 48, 48, 44, and 32.
Young in on this stream.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah. I
say
guess
I
you got
say
me on
30
that.
something a long time ago.
Yeah, I guess you got me on that one. Yeah.
So it seemed like it was just yesterday, but as time goes on, I agree that you got to soften up your outlook on life. And the people I truly, truly love and honor, I'm going to hug them if I'm that close to them. I'm going to give them the biggest hug I can. Because at the end of the day, everybody I hug is somebody who's totally, totally dangerous. And they one bad day away. So would you want me not to give them that love? Or would you want me to stay away from them and then they do finally decide this is the bad day.
Well,
So it's up to you, society. It's up to
let
you.
me respond to Mr. TikTok ski mask man. Let me respond to that. Let me respond to that fool. Here's my outlook on it, and this is just my personal opinion. You guys can chime in if you want to. Since 2022, I have I am what's the word? I am certified in the state of Virginia to take away your freedom. And if there's no other option, your life. And I have no problem hugging other men. If I know you. And if we've been friends for God knows how long. I dare you to call me soft to my face. I
I mean,
dare you to call me soft.
yeah, I'll probably let him slide. Hey, at this point in the game, hey, as long as you do, unless you do something to Kimberly Jackson, you good to go.
My father can knock you out with one punch.
Yeah, unless you do
And
something,
he has no problem hugging other men. So is he soft?
there you have it.
Call him soft. Call him soft to his face and see what happened. I ain't gotta do nothing. Call him soft to his face, see what happened.
My final question is: should men tell other men outside of their family? So let's get that out the way. No family member, nobody who got any blood in their body, without being at a Diddy party, should you be allowed to tell another man who's just your friend, no Diddy, I love you? We're gonna start with Jack, and then we'll work our way around.
Well, Norris, I always tell you that I love you, so I have no problem with that. It's it's being comfortable with that though, and knowing, that there's platonic love out there and being okay with that. And I think that's part of the problem that we're facing with men too, is that too many men associate love with lust, and they're not getting to the root of love, which is care and being there for someone and being like, hey, you know what, I'm in this fight with you. And for me, that's love. It's a deeper sense of thing. And lust, of course, is separated because I'm not gay. um but yeah, I mean, like, I will and it's boundaries too. It's like, what I mean when I say that. So I'm not going to necessarily say it to someone that I just met, right? But if we've built rapport, if we've been in the trenches, if we've had a lot of conversations and been through stuff together, of course I'm going to tell you I love you. Because like I said before, this life is only too short, and you don't want to regret not saying anything to people that you deeply care about and giving them that, because I think men especially don't hear that a lot. Women hear it superficially all the time, but men don't get that affection enough. And so us men sometimes have to step in and be there for each other, have each other's backs, support each other, and that's through love.
Let's go to the counterpoint. Let's go to Ryan.
Unfortunately, no counterpoint here. Um, I'm the college boy and the deep one or whatever as well. Amor fraternitas is brotherly love. If you Google what are the definitions of love, you have lust, you have parental love, you have the love for your higher power, you have the love for your brother. Each of those is in a separate category. Love every man as your brother, or when you have a bond with somebody, I could absolutely say I love you, man, and mean that. And I don't mean as again, I am straight as well, and that doesn't mean anything. There is some of those guys that I've lifted with, that I've bled with, or I've been punched out by in my new 2-year-old martial arts journey, and you build those bonds. But brotherly love is its own category, and that's again maybe something that is old school Western philosophy, but that has slipped away, blurring the lines with everything. As in, if like I have not served like David in the police force or the military and all those sorts of things, but that is your brother in arms. That is a separate category. That is not Diddy style stuff, right? That's some real shit, like. And if you've done hard things with somebody or had a struggle with somebody and all that, it builds a bond beyond a regular friendship. Would I say some dude I just met on the street, I love you? No, that bond isn't built. If I've sat under that squat rack with somebody and trained with them and suffered with them and those kinds of things, yes. If I got in the ring with any of you guys, respectfully, of course, we do some 3-minute rounds and stuff like that, we're going to build a bond pretty quick. When you have another man's safety in your hands, or having fun, even just banging on each other, right, getting out that stress, and that builds a bond. So unfortunately, this time, Norris, I don't give you the hard answer. I give you amor fraternitas, my brother. And Norris, I love you, man.
Hey, man. You know what? Before David jump in, last week when we was at Dave and Buster for the after birthday party, Damien almost made me cry because he gave me this light for podcasting, and I truly almost did cry because it was like someone gave me something that I truly needed and thought about me, and then it made me think I'm worthy of someone else's love without it being my wife, and that was very very special to me. So, hey, Damien, if you out there listening, brother, I appreciate you, man. And
Wait a
my
minute.
tone is getting very very soft at this point in my life. But hey, let's go to the other counterpoint. Let's go to David, my nephew.
Wait a
David.
minute. Before I respond, wait a second. You have always been worthy of love from me. Time out. Why am I not included in this shit?
Hey man, that was the first time I really just thought about it. You know, people tell you. they love you. People say, "Hey, I'm here for you," but when you really, and you know the situation been going on with the family personally,
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
and and it's just making me think a little bit more about life. You know what I mean? And this personal thing is going on. It's really just making me think, man. Now I have to be the guiding light to the family, and that's even another level of responsibility. And it's just making me think about, just make me think more. Just that's it. Just make me think more. You know what I mean? At a blink of an eye, it's over. And I was just like, man, I am worthy of love. I can be vulnerable with these people and trust them to honor that. But jump in there, David.
I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought when you said when you didn't mention me in the worthy of love thing. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Without going to the Diddy party, is it acceptable for another man to say "I love you"?
Yes, absolutely. I tell my dad. Well, let me not say that because that's not true. Um, I've told my brother I love him. I've told my academy mates I love him. It's okay for tell another man that you love him because what it if a bond is built, I agree with what they said because it means there's a mutual respect there. You know what I mean? It's a I love you as in I respect you. I got love for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm here if you need anything. Like we done got blood, sweat, and tears trying to get through this thing called life and through these 4 months of going through hell, getting sprayed, getting tased, getting shot with paintball rounds and all this other stuff. So a bond was built there when I started saying that to these guys. And and for those that and I'm gonna give you another example. I never watched him play. Clearly, I wasn't even thought of around this time. But Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain told each other they love him. You gonna call them soft to their face? I doubt it.
Mm.
Um, you know what I'm saying? It's okay to tell another man if a bond is built, of course, and if you've known each other for a while, you got that rapport with each other. It's okay to say I love you, man, because it's respect there. We've been through hell and back. We done shed blood, sweat, and tears together. We been through thick and thin. You know things about me that I will never share with anybody else. I know things about you that I'll never share with anybody else. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's okay for a man to say he loves another man because it's not lust. It's not saying, "Oh, I love you. Hey, I'm trying to take you home with me." No, it's not like that. It's not like, "Oh, go get the baby or we about to have some fun." No, it's not like that. If I say I love you, it means I respect you. It means I'm always gonna remember this. I'm always gonna be here for you. You my boy for life, stuff like that. That's what that means when a man tells another man he love him.
All right. Final question: what are some healthy outlets for men to express love and anger? We're gonna start off with Ryan, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up. Let's go.
The gym, sports, martial arts, good card games, hanging out with your boys, different things like that, right? If you can't, like, those would be the obviously acceptable answers. Maybe your family. But I'm going to go with the healthiest ways are probably going to be where you can express anger and emotion is pick up a sport. It doesn't matter football, soccer, the gym, combat sports, old school martial arts. It doesn't matter. It's the most healthy outlet I can think of to get that out of your system, physical activity, go for runs, whatever it is, because that builds that bond. That's going to get anger out of you. You can be angry that you got a goal scored against you in some sport, and you can, right, and then after the game, it's after the game, the whistle blows or the bell rings or all of that stuff. Is absolutely healthy ways for a man or anybody to express love, to express anger, to get it out of their system, to do different things, and even if it's unrelated to the struggles you're going through. um, it helps those struggles you're going through because you just sweat till you puked, or you just hit the squat rack till you did this, or you did a deadlift off with your buddy, or you did whatever that is, you got in the ring, tossed on the gloves, and banged on each other for 3 minutes, or all of that are absolute healthy ways that I don't think people do enough physical activity of any kind. And especially men, where you get into testosterone, you get into cultural influences, you get into genetic influences, you get into whatever your belief structure is. Men should be sweating a lot more than they are and should be doing harder things. Hiking up a mountain. I'm not trying to say it has to be weightlifting or combat sports or any of these stereotypical kind of things. Go hike up a mountain, go for a run, go do whatever, get into some hard ass chess tournament. It doesn't, like, it can, any forms of competition, physical exertion, and any of these things are going to be absolute the best possible ways to outlet, whether it's anger, any kind of emotion, in a healthy, safe, rule-based environment where everyone's going to be friends after. So that's my answer to that question. But I did forget something earlier and I got to say this because it's both kind of funny and true. Acceptable reasons to cry. It's okay if your sports team wins. There's a come from behind victory. Your favorite team wins the Super Bowl. That guy breaks his leg, gets up and finishes the touchdown. You know what I mean? Like, so just got to add in. Your favorite player wins the MVP. You're allowed one tear to drip down, boys. Okay.
Jack.
All right. Well, first I'll say no Diddy party. That's first of all. Don't get involved in
No
that.
Diddy party.
Don't get involved with that stuff. Don't get involved with bad people, right? But be with good people and do physical activities, just like you said. And Ryan, I have a question with the crying. Is it acceptable to cry if you succeed in a competition? Let's say that it's like you broke a record in powerlifting and you just came back from an injury. Is it okay to bawl joy, tears of joy, like Michael Jordan did when he won that fourth championship and his dad died and he was hugging the championship on the floor, crying on the floor? Is that acceptable?
Maybe. One tear.
What?
And Jack, it's more acceptable for me to shed that one tear if you do that. And I'm watching, bro, and you win that, you break that record. I won. My eyes might go, and that one tear might form quite at the side. But if I do it, bro, or if I win this fight, or when I have broken some records in powerlifting and I got a medal on my chest from Canada, all that, I did not shed a tear. But one dusty tear if your bro does it.
Okay, I'll accept that.
Hey, Jack, in that case, if you manage to do this comeback, I'll cry for you, bro.
Thank you.
I got you.
Someone's got to cry for me.
At this point, Ryan might be the hardest dude.
I know.
Maybe harder than David Goggins himself.
On that Muay Thai.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Oh,
David, please jump in, bro.
Don't laugh at me, but don't laugh at me because don't laugh at me. But
Oh,
I can admit I've cried. I cried when I found out I was going to graduate the academy because I remember everybody that told me I wasn't going to make it, and they purposely made it hard for me to not graduate, and they kept moving the goalpost, and and just seeing my final grade on the test, on all my finals, my shooting final, my ground fighting, and all that stuff, which I'll get to that in a minute. But I remembered everybody that said you don't belong here, you not gonna make it. Um, People outside the academy were telling me I wasn't gonna make it. People who I thought were my friends told me I wasn't gonna make it. And so just seeing that I was gonna graduate and me walking across that stage, You damn right I cried. Go ahead and judge me. I don't care. I cried. I did. Not in front of everybody else though. I got in my car and I cried. So yeah, I'm still a real G at the end of the day. But but yeah, I cried. So what? Sue me, laugh at me. I don't care. Now, as for the physical activity part, I think I let out a lot of anger I have built up because I remember ground fighting day. I remember the one instructor who told me I didn't belong here, was in my face. I don't belong here. I ain't gonna make it. Blah blah blah. They gave me a choice. They let me pick my instructor who I wanted to fight. I pointed directly at him. I already had in my mind ground fighting day. I'm gonna fuck him up. And the day it came, I think I was the first one there at the building. I was the first one there, like 5 o'clock in the morning. I was there for everybody else. And they gave me the rules. Don't hit him in the head, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever, whatever. Move out the way. Get out the way. Move. Get out the way. I think they let us go for like 10 minutes. And I was pissed because when they said red light, I wasn't done. I just kept hitting him. I was like, because I kept thinking about all the time he said I wasn't going to make it and how he just kept getting in my face, giving me shit, all this other stuff. So was it healthy? Yeah. I followed the rules. I didn't hit him in the head. I hit him straight. I just kept hitting him straight in the chest. I didn't beat him to a pulp. I didn't do none of that. But it was a healthy way for me to let out all my anger and I felt better. I play sports, I play basketball, I play football every now and then because it's a healthy way for me to hit people legally and get away with it. Um Basketball, I have way too much energy. I'm 32. Don't judge me. I'm young. I like to run. I like to podcast. I like to do all this other stuff. So it's like for people playing football because there's a lot of moms out there. They don't want their sons playing football because it's dangerous. No, let them play football because it lets them burn off all that energy. They want to. Kids, little boys want to fight. Little boys are violent. I know that because I was that violent kid. I wanted to hit people, and when I found out I could hit people legally and get away with it, oh, sign me up. Where I signed up at, I was begging my dad and my mom to sign me up. It's sports is a healthy way to burn off the to burn off all this pent up energy you have. Whether you're angry, whether you're just anxious, whether all that's football is a good healthy way to blow off that steam. But I do boxing here at my office sometimes. I run like a mile and a half sometimes. Um all that stuff. So when you're angry, instead of fighting and all this other stuff or being violent and stuff, go to the gym, do like use that anger that you have built up inside you to better yourself. You know what I'm saying? I learned that from Denzel watching that what's that movie? What's that? Antoine Fisher. He said use that anger to better yourself.
Mm.
Am I guilty of not doing that? Yeah, I am. But now that I'm older and I have a child now who I don't want to be violent like me, I found better ways to channel it by playing sports, going to the gym, podcast, and just taking my mind off of whatever's pissing me off at that moment. So there's some advice that I listen to y'all that I listen to y'all. You know what I'm saying? There's advice that I take and all that other stuff. So I'm in a better place.
Hey, there you have it. I'm gonna give y'all time to think, so I'm gonna go first. But while y'all thinking, what's one quote that you live by? I'm gonna say my favorite quote that I honestly live by. Somewhere out there, there's a motherfucker that wants everything you have, wants the wife you have, or the husband you have, or the job you have. There's a motherfucker out there that wants everything you have. So maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but you better be ready. Stay hard, David Goggins. That's all I'm saying. Ryan.
Be the man you needed. Be the man you wanted to be. Like, I don't know who said that, where I got that from, but that one rolls around in my mind so much in any situation. You know, I want to be fit, so be that fit man. You got some problems, be that man. You see someone else having some problems, be the man they need, or be the man you needed in that situation. So I don't know if it's an attributable quote. I have a lot of David Goggins rolling through my mind. It's freezing up here in Canada. I'm running every morning, and it's who carries the boats, and like Goggins echoes in my mind, one of my heroes. But the one I've started try and live by the most is be the man you needed or be the man you want to be.
Jack.
I would. I'm going to butcher the Latin on this, but it's a Stoic quote. It's a Mori Morti, and I think it means the love for death. And it doesn't mean that you love death, that you're obsessed with death. It means that you accept death as that it can come at any time, and you live life knowing that today could be your last day. So it's always living like today is your last day. So that's the quote I live by, and it helps me prioritize what's important in my life.
Hmm. David, are you still there?
I am.
All right. What's one quote that you live by?
The true essence of a man is not when things are going right, but it's during your trials and tribulations. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a good one. All right, guys. Well, on a wrap up, I love you guys. Super no
I
Diddy,
love
just in case anybody wondering. No oil, no baby
I
oil.
love you too, Unc.
And to ski mask TikTok guy, hey, I love my brothers. And all my brothers are very dangerous men. So you should be happy that they got somebody in this world who loves them. So, but I love my brothers, man. And one thing about this life is this life has been very interesting for me. And the journey ain't over, but on this next level of the journey, I will be getting a lot more responsible with my thoughts and my actions because now I have no other choice. I have to step up the game to a new level, but I just appreciate you guys for helping me upon this journey of kindness and love. Because one thing I do love is when people see me today, they always think I'm so nice and kind and generous. And people always tell me that I ain't about this thug life, and that's the one best compliment I can ever receive in this life. Because if
Yeah,
they
okay.
only
Yeah,
knew,
yeah.
if they only knew.
Piss them
So,
off if you want to. I tell everybody that. Piss on off if you want to.
so
Even I
I
can't save you after that.
Yeah, I think it's best for me to keep this image of kindness and generosity throughout my life. And this next journey of my life, it's gonna be even bigger and better. And we're gonna do this once a month. And next time I have a conversation, we're gonna be talking about 2A. It's gonna be going on bright and early in the morning, but we talking about 2A, baby. So I'm looking forward to my next conversation and welcome back to the podcast game. And Jack, I'm looking forward to your next podcast as
You guys
well.
are invited. Ryan and David, definitely hit me up because I want to get you guys on my podcast too.
Okay.
Anytime, Jack. Anytime, Jack.
All
And
right.
then
I will make time for you, Mr. Jack.
Thank
I
you.
got you.
Love you guys.
And
Love you too,
Jack,
man.
when you have your comeback and you break this record, let me know so I can get my tier ready.
I want to see him. I want to
I
see him.
will put Visine in my eye and then send you a clip after. If you break that record, you make that comeback, Jack. And if two come out, you'll know it was real and not just Visine, brother.
All right, guys, man. I truly appreciate your time and I truly love you. I'll see you tomorrow, David, at 6 p.m. at the house. All right, guys. Salute.
Yes,
Salute.
sir. Peace.